Good afternoon. So, last week we learned about adding and subtracting mixed numbers and turning them into improper fractions with common denominators. And this week we're going to be doing a similar thing, only we're going to do it with uncommon denominators. But let's do a little bit of a review from last week and see what you remembered. Oops. Let's go over the signal first. So whenever I tap my hand on the table, like knock the table, I want you to respond in unison. So if today is Thursday, what will tomorrow be?
Friday.
What color is this table?
Brown.
Good. All right, now we're going to start with our review. So I want you to write 4 3/7 on your piece of paper minus 2 2/7. Now when you see a number like this, what do you do first?
You add the whole numbers together first.
Are you sure you add?
You subtract.
You subtract? Okay. So what is 4 minus 2?
2.
What do you do next? Because you still have these two fractions left.
You're going to take 3 minus 2 because the 7 and the 7, the denominators, are both the same numbers. So I can subtract the numerators from each other and I will get 1 over 7.
1 over 7. Because the denominators are the same, which allows you to subtract. So 4 3/7 minus 2 2/7 equals
2 and 1 7.
Do we need to simplify this?
No.
All right. So let's write down our next problem. So our next problem is going to be 5 2/6 plus 1 2/6. Now what do we need to do first?
We're going to add the whole numbers.
Okay. So 5 plus 1 is
6.
And then what are we going to need to do next?
We are going to add the numerators, 2 plus 2,
Okay.
together because the denominators are the same.
So we just move the denominator over with it.
Correct.
Okay. And that gets you...
4 over 6.
And can we simplify this?
We can.
We can.
We can take 2 into each number and get 2 over 3.
But what do you do with the 6?
You leave the 6 the same.
You leave the 6 the same, so it's 6 and 2 over 3?
Yes.
All right. And do we need to do anything else to it?
No.
Okay. Let's move on to the next number. So I want you to write what I'm going to write down. 4 2 over 3 minus 1 and 1 over 3. Now, what do we need to do first?
We are going to subtract the whole numbers from each other.
Okay, so what is 4 minus 1?
3.
What do you need to do next?
We are going to take the numerators and take 2 minus 1.
What is 2 minus 1?
It is 1. And we are going to carry the 3 over since the denominators are the same.
So what is your answer?
3 and 1/3.
And do you need to simplify?
No.
All right. So let's move on to the next one. So we have 4 and 5 over 8 minus 2 and 1 over 8. What do we need to do first?
First, we are going to add the whole numbers together.
Okay. So add, are you sure?
Subtract.
Subtract. So what is 4 minus 2?
2.
And then what do we do next?
We are going to subtract the numerators. So it's going to be 5 minus 1, which equals 4 because the denominators are the same. And carry that over, and that's going to be 4 over 8.
And do we need to do anything else?
We can simplify that. We
Okay.
can take 4 into each number and get 1 over 4, so it would be 2 1/4.
All right. Great job. So now we're going to do 2 more problems, and then we're going to move on. So let's write 4 and 1 over 5 plus 2 and 3 over 5. What do we do first?
First, we're going to add the whole numbers.
Okay.
4 plus 2 equals 6.
What do we do next?
Then we're going to add the numerators together because the denominators are the same.
Okay.
So it's going to be 1 plus 3 is 4. And we're going to carry over the 5. So it's going to be 6 4/5.
Do we need to do anything else?
No.
All right. So this is going to be our last one of review. You're doing great. So let's do 1 and 1 over 7 plus 8 and 3 over 7. What do we do first?
First, we're going to add the whole numbers together. So that's 1 plus 8 is 9.
And then what do we do next?
Then we're going to add the numerators together, which is 1 plus 3 is 4 because the denominators are the same, and we're going to carry that, and it's going to be 7. So it's 9 4/7.
Do we need to do anything else?
No.
All right. Good job participating and using your listening ears in the review. And now I'm going to present some new content to show you what you need to do. So you don't need to write anything or do anything, just listen and focus. And I'm going to show you what I'm writing. So I'm writing 2 and 3 over 4 plus 1 and 7 over 8. So now we are going, you see how, first let's look at the sign. This is a positive sign, so we have to add both of these mixed numbers together. But if we look at the denominators, they're not the same. So this isn't going to be as easy to do as it was with the other fractions. So we are going to turn both of these mixed numbers into improper fractions, add them together, and then we're going to turn them back into mixed numbers. So we can work on a lot of skills during this. So first, let's look at 2 and 3/4, and I'll hold this up. And you're going to carry it down. So we are going to look at it. So first we keep our denominator the same. We always keep that the same. So that is going to stay at the bottom. But we need to still find our numerator. And to do that, we are going to take the denominator and multiply it by the whole number. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then we need to take the 8 and we need to add it to the numerator. So 8 plus 3 is 11. So we have 11 over 4. So we turned this mixed number into an improper fraction. And I'm going to write it at the bottom so we can remember this step. So you take the denominator, which I'll write a D for, and you times it by the whole number. So I'll write a W. And whatever that equals, you need to add it to the numerator to get the new numerator. Okay? Like a little equation there. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So we're going to take this number and we're going to bring down the 8 as the denominator, but we still need to find the numerator. So we're going to take 8 times 1, which is 8, and then we're going to add it to the 7, which gives us 15 as our new numerator. But we can't add them together yet because both of these denominators aren't matching. So we need to find the least common denominator between the two, like we have done practicing our past skills. So I know that 4 times 2 is going to give me 8, which will match our denominator, so I'm going to do that. But whatever I times the bottom number by, I need to times the top number by. So 4 times 2 is 8. So we'll write it right here, is 8. And 2 times 11 is 22. So now I have 15 over 8 plus 22 over 8, and now I can add. So now I take my numbers and I add together 15 and 22 to get 37 over 8. But I'm not done yet. I'm going to turn this back into a mixed number because that is the skill we're working really hard on right now. So to do that, I'm going to divide 8 by 37. And I'm going to do this a little old school with a little box around it. And I know that 8 times 4 equals 32. So I'm going to write the 4 at the top. I'm going to write the 32 below. And then I'm going to subtract. And I know that 2 minus 7 equals 5. So now I have gotten 4 with a remainder of 5. So now we're going to turn this back into a mixed number. So our first step is to put the 8, which was our original denominator. It's still going to be our denominator, so we're going to put that in the denominator's place. And our new numerator is going to be the remainder, 5. And then 4, because it went in, the whole number went in 4 times, will be our new whole number as 4. So we get 4 and 5 over 8 as our answer. Now I'm going to erase this and I'm going to show a few more. And then then it's going to be your turn to show me what you can do. So let's look at our next equation. So we have 5 and 4 over 9 minus 4 and 2 over 3. So our first step is to carry down the first step is to look at the sign. So we're going to be subtracting. And both of the denominators are not the same. So we're going to take our first mixed number, which is 5 and 4 over 9, and we're going to turn it into an improper fraction. And we know that the denominator is 9 because it stays the same, and now we're just looking for our numerator. So now we're going to do 9 times 5, which gives us 45, plus 4 to give us 49, because we multiplied the denominator by the whole number, and then we added it to the numerator to get the new numerator. So we have 49 over 9. Next, we're going to do this to the same mixed number. So we're going to bring down the 3, and now we need to figure out the new numerator. So we take 4 times 3, 12, and we add the 2 to get us 14, and we have 14 over 3. But there's still another step we need to do before we can subtract. Both of the denominators still need to be the same. So I know that 3 times 3 equals 9, which will make both of these denominators match so we can subtract. So I'm going to multiply the bottom number by 3 and the top number by 3. And since this is a bigger number, the 14, I'm going to do it a little old school right here. It'll help with refreshing some of our skills. And I know that it is 14 times 3 is going to be 42 over 3. Oh wait, not over 3, because we still have to have the denominator. 3 times 3 is 9, and then minus the 49 over 9. And now we know that, now we know that 42 minus 49.
49 minus 42.
Oh, 49 minus 42 is 7 over 9. And that's our answer right there. And now 9 can't go into 7. So when this number cannot go into that number, so like the denominator cannot go into the numerator, it's already in its simplest form. So when you come across this, think, whew, I don't have to turn this into a mixed number because I'm not going to make you do that. But I wanted to throw a few of these in there so you would see them, and to give you a little break in between. So let's look at another number. So we have 2 and 2 over 6 plus 1 and 1 over 2. So 1 and 1/2. Now both the denominators aren't matching, so as we know, we're going to follow our steps. we're going to look at the first mixed number, 2 and 2 over 6, and we are going to carry down that 6 in the denominator spot because we always keep the denominator the same. And then we are going to times the denominator by the whole number, so 2 times 6 is 12, and then we are going to add that to the numerator to get 14. Because we did 6 times 2 to get 12, plus 2 is 14. And then we are going to do the same thing to the other mixed number. So we are going to carry down that 2 from 1 and 1/2, and then we are going to need to find the numerator. So we know that, so we multiply our denominator by our whole number. 2 times 1 is 2, and then we add that to our numerator. So we have 3 as our new numerator. But we can't add these together yet because the denominators aren't the same. You always check to make sure. So we need to make them the same. And I know that 2 times 3 equals 6, which will give me the same denominator. So we have the 14 over 6 plus, we have the new denominator is going to be 6, and then 3 times 3 is 9 for our numerator, and now we can add. So then we add 14 plus 9. I had to think about that one for a second there. 23 over 6. But we're not done yet because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So we can turn this back into a mixed number. So let's do it. So let's divide the 6 into 23. And I know that 6 times 3 is 18. But 6 times 4 is 24. So we're going to go with 6 times 3 because 24 is bigger than 23 and we need a smaller number. So then I can subtract from here. And then I have to subtract from here. And then we have a remainder. We have 3 with a remainder of 5. So now we are going to turn this back into a mixed number. So our denominator from before, the 6, is still going to be our denominator at the bottom. And our numerator is the remainder, so 5. And then however many times it went in, since it went in 3 times, is going to be our whole number. So we end up with 3 and 5 over 6. All right. Small board. So let's do another problem. So let's do 5 and 2 over 2 minus 4 and 4 over 8. Okay. Now both the denominators are not the same. So we're not getting an easy break here. We're going to have to do all the steps over again. So we're going to take our first mixed number, 5 and 2 over 2, and we're going to turn it into an improper fraction. So we carry down that 2 into the denominator's place because it always stays the same, and then we need to find the numerator. So we take the denominator times the whole number, so 2 times 5 is 10. And then we take that number and we add it to the numerator, which is 2. So 10 plus 2 equals 12. So we have 12 over 2 for our first improper fraction. And now we need to make the other mixed number into an improper fraction. So we carry down the 8, which will be our denominator. And then we're going to multiply 8 times 4, which is 32. And we're going to add the 4 to it, which gives us 36. Yeah, 36. I had to think there for a second. So now we have 12 over 2 minus 36 over 8. So now we need both the denominators to be the same. And I know 2 times 4 equals 8. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do the top. So we multiply the top by 2 also. No, by 4, my bad. Also. So let's start with the bottom one. So we know 4 times 2 is going to be 8. And then 4 times 12 is 48. So now we can take our 48 minus the 36. And we end up with 12 over 8. But I know 8 can go in there because the numerator is bigger than the denominator, so you have to turn it back into a mixed fraction. I know there's a lot of steps in this one. So I know that 8 times 2 is, I believe, 16, which is way too big. So it's not going to go into 12. So we're just going to go with the single number, and we're going to put it in once. And then we're going to subtract 8 from 12 to get our remainder, which is 4. So now we have one remainder 4. So let's turn this back into our mixed number. So we keep the denominator 8 because that stays the same. Our remainder is the new numerator. And then our how many times it went in is our new whole number. So we have 1 and 4 over 8. So now we are going to do another one. And we are going to do 5 and 2 over 3 plus 4 and 2 over 6. And is this making sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I'm not going too fast for you, am I?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. You let me know. All right, so we have 5 and 2 over 3 plus 4 and 2 over 6. And they're both mixed numbers, and we need to turn them both into improper to add. So we're going to start with the first one, 5 and 2 over 3, and we're going to turn it into an improper fraction. We keep the denominator the same, the 3, and we need to find the numerator. So we take 3 times 5, which gives us 15, and then we add the 2 for 17, because when we get 17 over 3, because we always take the denominator, multiply it by the whole number, and add it to the numerator. So let's do that for the next one. So we are going to take our our mixed number, 4 and 2 over 6, and turn it into an improper fraction. So we always keep the denominator the same. So we move down the 6. And now we have to find the numerator. So we take 4 times 6 to get us 24 plus 2 equals 26. So we have 26 over 6. But 17 over 3 plus 26 over 6 can't be done yet because both the denominators are not the same. So let's make them the same. So we're going to multiply the other side to find the least common denominator. And I know that 3 times 2 is going to give me 6. So I'm going to multiply both the top and bottom of 17 over 3 by 2 to get me my same denominator so I can add it. So I know so I know where you going? Are you going back? Okay. So, we just took a break there. Back from intermission. Okay, so we're going to take our first, so I know that, let's pick up from where we left off. We are multiplying the 17 over 3 by 2 so we can get the same denominator. So 2 times 3 is obviously 6. And then 2 times 17 is 34. So now we need to add the 34 and 26 together. Oh, I'm skipping ahead of myself. Now we need to add 34 over 6 plus 26 over 6 because both the denominators are the same. So first we're going to add the numerators. So 34 plus 26. And we get 62.
What's 6 plus 4? 10.
My bad. Okay. Oh my gosh. Sorry for that. I had a little brain moment. It's 60. 34 plus 26 is 60. So we have 60 over 6. And the numerator is bigger than the denominator, so we're going to put it in there and get our mixed number. So, if you know your tens, this should be easy because this goes in so smoothly because 6 times 10 is 60. And you have nothing remaining, so you just have 10. So that's kind of crazy. So you don't have a remainder.
Very nice.
It's nice. So we're going to move on to our last problem, and then it's going to be your turn to practice some for me. And I can see how much of this you're grasping. So let's do one more together. So we have 7 and 4 over 9 minus 5 and 2 over 3. So first I'm going to carry down, I'm going to take that first mixed number and we turn it into an improper fraction. If you're not tired of me saying that yet. Okay, so we take 7 and 4 over 9 and we turn it into an improper fraction. So remember, keep the denominator the same. So our denominator is 9. It's still going to be 9 in the next one. So then we take our denominator, multiply it by the whole number. So 9 times 7 is 63. And then we're going to add 4 to it to give us 67. So we have 67 over 9. So now we're going to do the same thing on the other mixed number and turn it into an improper fraction. So we keep the denominator the same. So we carry down that 3, not changing. And then we're going to take the denominator and multiply it by the whole number. So 3 times 5, 15. And then we're going to add that to the numerator. So 15 plus 2 is 17. So we have 17 over 3. But we cannot subtract those yet because the denominators are not the same. And I know, so we have the smaller number, 3 over 17. I always look at the smaller one and see if I can find the least common denominator or make it the same. And I know that 3 times 3 is 9, so that's going to give me 9. And it's going to match up there. And now I need to do the bottom number. So we are going to do 3 times 3, which is 9. And then we need to do 3 times 17, which is going to give us 51. So we have 51 over 9. So now our new problem is 67 over 9 minus 51 over 9. So we are going to subtract. So we take the 67 and the 51. We're subtracting them. And we end up with 16. I believe. Yeah, we end up with 16 over 9. Now 9 can still go in there. So we're going to have to do that and turn it into a mixed number. So we take the 16 and the 9, and I know that 9 times 2 is 18. And that's way too big to fit into 16. So we're only going to put it in there once. So we're just going to do 9 minus 16, which gives us 7, I believe. Yeah, 7. So we have 1 with a remainder of 7. And now we're going to turn this back into a mixed number. So we take our denominator, is still going to be our denominator, so we still have that 9 at the bottom. And then we take our remainder, 7, which is our new numerator, and then we take our whole number, which is 1 because it went in its whole self one time. So now we have 1 and 7 over 9. Now, did that all make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now I'm going to have you practice some for me. And do you remember the signal that I taught you at the beginning?
Are you gonna knock on the table?
Yeah.
Yeah, then yes, I do.
Yes? So you remember? Okay, good. So let's start with our new problem. So I'm going to write this down, and then I want you to write it on yours, and then I want you to perform it for me. So write down this number.
Okay.
And now what do I need to do first?
First, you have to change the numbers
Mm-hmm.
because the denominators are not the same.
So they have uncommon denominators.
Correct.
So what would you do first?
So first, I'm going to take the 3 and 5/9,
Okay.
and I'm going to bring down the 9,
Mm-hmm.
the denominator,
The denominator.
and then I'm going to times the 9 times the 3,
Okay.
and then I'm going to add 5 to it.
Okay. And what do you get?
That's what I'm supposed to do, right?
Yes.
So 9 times 3 is 27.
Okay.
So I'm going to take 27, and then I'm going to add 5 to it, right?
Yes. Okay.
And I'm going to get 32. So I'm going to have 32 over 9.
Okay. And then what do you do next?
And then I'm going to take the 2 and 2/3, and I'm going to make that into, I'm going to take the 3, and I'm going to carry it down. That is the denominator.
Okay.
And I'm going to take 3 times 2, which is 6, and add 2 to it, and I'm going to get 8 over 3.
Okay. What do I do now? Can I multiply? No. Can I subtract now?
Not yet, because the denominators are not the same. I know that 3 times 3 equals 9, so I'm going to change that denominator to equal it to be 9.
Okay.
So what I do on the bottom, I got to do on the top. So I'm going to times both of them by 3, and I'm going to get 8 times 3 is 24, so I'm going to have 24 over 9.
Okay. Now what do I do?
Now I can subtract because I have 32 over 9 minus 24 over 9. So that will work.
So what is 32 minus 24?
It's going to be 8 over 9.
8 over 9. And then can I do anything else?
No.
All right. So we're going to move on to the next one. Good job. So our next problem is going to be, I think my marker just died. Sorry. So I'll just read them off to you. So our next problem is going to be 4 and 5 over 8
Mm-hmm.
plus 2 and 1 over 2.
Okay.
So what do I do first?
First, I have to make the denominators the same to do
Okay.
anything with these problems.
Okay, so you're just going to change the denominators. You're not going to do anything else?
Now I'm going to change the whole number,
The whole number?
so then I can start that way first.
So what are you turning this mixed number into? Do you remember what it's called?
Improper fraction.
Yes.
So I'm going to make 2 improper fractions. So I'm going to take the first number, I'm carrying the denominator down, so that's
Okay.
8. So I'm going to take 8 times 4, which is 32, plus 5 is 37.
Okay.
Then the next number, I have 2 and 1/2, so then I'm going to take 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so then I have 5 over 2. So right now I have 37 over 8 plus 5 over 2.
Okay. So what, can you add those right now?
I cannot,
Why not?
because the denominator's not the same yet.
What are you going to do to change that?
I'm going to take the 5 over 2 and change that because I know 2 times 4 is 8. So what I have to do to the bottom, I do the top. So I'm going to get 20 over 8. So I'm going to add 37 over 8 plus 20 over 8.
So what is 37 plus 20?
57 over 8.
And can I leave it like that, or do I need to do something else?
You have to take 8 into 57 because it will go into that number.
Okay. So because the numerator is bigger than the denominator, we put the denominator into it, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So then 8 goes into 57, I think 7 times. You get 56. So I have a remainder of 1.
Okay. And then do I leave it like that? Just 7, remainder 1?
No, you don't. So our new whole number is 7.
Whole number or?
Our new whole number at the top because that's
Okay.
the whole number that came there.
Okay.
Our denominator stays the same, which is 8. And what is remainder is our numerator, which is 1. So I get 7 and 1/8.
Do you need to do anything else?
No.
All right. So let's move on to the next one. You're doing a great job. Stay strong. So our next equation is 9 and 3 over 2 minus 5 and 4 over 3. So what do I do first?
First I have to change numbers again because the denominators are not the same.
Okay. So what?
I need to make them into improper fractions.
How do you do that?
So then the 9 and 3 over 2, I'm going to take the 2 down because that stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to take 2 times 9, which is 18.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to add 3 to that. And I get 21. And then the other number is 5 and 4/3. So then I'm going to take 5 times 3 is 15 plus 4 is 19 over 3. So then I have 21 over 2 minus 19 over 3.
And can you leave it like that?
No, I cannot.
So what do you need to do?
So then I have to have a common denominator, which neither one of these is common to each other. So then I have to make a common denominator.
So you have to find the least common denominator between the two.
Correct.
All right. So how are you going to do that?
I'm going to times them together because that is the least common for them, and it will be 6.
All right. And
So
do you
then
just do that to the bottom?
I got to do it to the top too.
Okay.
So the first number I'm timesing by 3 each number.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have 6 on the bottom, and then I have 21 times 3, which is 63. And then the next number I'm going to times by 2 because that will give me 6 on the bottom. So then I have 19 by 2, and that gives me 38 over 6.
Okay. And then what do you do next?
Now I can subtract because I have 63 over 6 minus 38 over 6.
Okay.
So for me, that would work. And so I'm going to get 25 over 6.
Do you stop there?
I don't. I take 6 into 25, which I know goes 4 times, which gives me a remainder of 1. So then my new whole number is 4 because that went into it 4 whole times.
Okay.
And my new remainder is 1, so that's my new numerator. And my new denominator, which stays the same, is 6. So I got 4 and 1 6.
Do you need to do anything else?
No.
Great. All right. And now we're going to do another one.
Goody.
Okay. So we're going to do one more, and then you seem like you're really getting this, so I'm going to let you move on to the independent practice after we do this next one. So we're going to do 6 and 5 over 8
6 and 5 over 8
plus
plus
1 and 2 over 4.
1 and 2 over 4.
Okay, what do you do first?
First, I'm going to change them into improper fractions
Why?
because I can't add the numbers because the denominators are different.
Okay. How do you do that?
So I'm going to go 8 times 6, which is 48, and then I have to add 5 onto it, which is 53. So now I got 53 over 8. And then my other number is 1 and 2/4. So then I need to take 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So then I have 6 over 4. So 53 over 8 plus 6 over 4.
And can you add those?
Nope.
What do you need to do?
I need to make the denominators the same.
Okay, how are you going to do that?
I know that 4 times 2 equals 8. So I'm going to times this number, the numerator and the denominator, by 2 to give me 12 over 8.
And now can you add them?
I can, because then I have 53 over 8 plus 12 over 8 is 65 over 8.
And is that your answer, just 65 over 8?
No, I have to take 8 into 65
Okay.
because it's still an improper fraction. And 8 times 8 is 64, and 65 minus 64 is 1. So then my new whole number is 8. My remainder is 1, so that's my numerator, and 8 is still my denominator, so 8 and 1/8.
And do you need to do anything else?
Nope.
Do you feel confident with this?
Yep.
It looks like you're very confident and you're getting it. So I'm going to let you move on to that independent practice. So I'll take this, and I want you to do your absolute best at it and work your hardest. And make sure to look at the signs and look at all the numbers. And there's 6 problems.
Okay. Do I have to say these out loud?
No, you can just work quietly.
I put my name on the top.
Okay.
In case you didn't know who I was.
Okay.
More lead.
Do you need to get another pencil?
No, we got it. We got it. Okay. Some big numbers here. Okay.
Doing a great job. Just raise your hand if you have any questions.
Don't. How did I do?
By the looks of it, you did pretty good. And I'll look over it more closely and bring it back to you tomorrow and show you anything that you did right and wrong. So I want to thank you for working so hard with me today and participating and actively listening. And we have one more thing to do to just summarize this, and then we'll be done. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm gonna have you put these steps in order of what you're supposed to do first and then afterwards, because you're practicing the language we used for the steps. So next to the letters, you can just put a 1, 2, 3, or 4 of what you're supposed to do first and then second.
Do I have to say this out loud? Or do you just want me to write it down?
You can just write it if you
Okay.
want to, unless you want me to read it aloud to you.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
So I want to turn the mixed numbers into improper fractions.
So that's the first step? Okay. What's the second?
I believe so. Last. I think I want to carry the denominators down before finding the numerator.
Yes.
Is the second. Then when I want to multiply the denominators to the whole number before adding it to the numerator.
Yes.
Then I want to find the least common denominator between the two fractions. Then I want to subtract or add the denominators of both fractions. The numerators. I want to subtract and add the numerators of both fractions together. And then I want to turn the improper fraction back into a mixed number.
It seems like you really got it. And you worked your hardest, and I really appreciate that. You did really good today. I'm
Thank
very
you.
proud of you.
Me too.
Thank you for working so hard. Now let's walk you back to class.